Christine and I were passing through Longview, Washington, and look who we met out in the park, Phil Rushton.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, Phil.
Glad to have you in Longview. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. We got a chance to see Phil's church across the street there, and we thought we'd ask Phil a few questions. So come join us. We're going to ask him some questions. Here's one for you, Phil. Describe a challenging experience or season of life, and how did you sense God meeting you there?
All right. Yeah, actually, you had sent me a couple of these questions, and I prepped or asked James permission to tell the story. One of the rules I have when it comes to using kids in sermon illustrations is that I, one, have to get their permission, two, they're allowed to veto it, and if I use it, they get $1. So James has like an awesome side business going on here.
A little jar of
That's right.
coins.
That's right. But a really significant part of our story was when James was born, a pretty difficult season where the day we were going to take him home from the hospital, we found out he was born with a really severe heart defect, and it's called tetralogy of Fallot, and he was going to need open heart surgery at about month 5, and so that was just a real difficult season for us, especially just being in and out of children's hospitals and hearing some of the other heartbreaking stories of other parents we got to know. And it was just a real challenging season, especially just getting him to that age of viability. He was having trouble eating and needed to be big enough to get there. So, you know, sometimes in those moments, I'm sure you've been in those experiences, you're just in survival mode, and it's just hard to endure it. But often later, you kind of start to get a sense of kind of where God is in that. The poet Tennyson has this line where he says, "Let us reach a hand through time and catch the far-off interest of our tears." And it's often like later on we kind of start tracing kind of where God is in the midst of that. And so as I look back on that experience, we really saw that as a formative season, a time of just deepening our sense of empathy for others. Just saw God in the courage of caregivers and surgeons who operate on babies. It's just amazing, their courage and the wonderful workers there. And then just also just a reminder of God as a God who suffers with us, a God who knew what it was like to have a son in pain. And so that's just something that I've been very encouraged by, just knowing that God is a God who stands in solidarity with us in our trials. So.
Thanks, Phil. Thanks for sharing that with us. Appreciate that. Here's another one. This is from Eric Sellerite. If our 10 missional markers, which ones connect most closely with your giftedness and skill set, and how do you know?
Yeah, how do you know? Good question. Yeah, you know, so the second missional marker is about facilitating a life-transforming work with Jesus, and to me, that's one of the most significant ones, because I think out of that, the other markers will happen organically. If we are in a process of discipleship, we will be generous. We will develop godly leaders. We will want to reach out. We want to be involved in works of justice and mercy. And so that's really close to my heart, just that work of moving us beyond just information into a formative process. And I think sometimes as a church, at least my experience growing up, is sometimes we really reduce discipleship to getting our facts straight. Dallas Willard, in his book, The Great Omission, says that we have made discipleship kind of optional, and we've misread the Great Commission to go and make converts that assert their opinion on a few doctrinal points. And those doctrinal points are important. Those facts are important. But God calls us beyond just giving a verbal assent to a real transformation of our heart and the desire to follow him. You know, Jesus at one point says, "My name is on your lips, but your hearts are far from me." And so one of the things that I've been really passionate about is how we move beyond just information to transformation. And my project at Fuller, I developed a whole spiritual formation and institute for our church where we really meditated on the scriptures in a way that moved us beyond just getting our facts right to a real transformative encounter with God. And so that's something that I'm really, really passionate about. So.
That's great. Okay, here's another one for you.
All right.
If you could have coffee with one person in all of history.
Yeah.
It's not Jesus.
It's not Jesus.
Not Jesus.
Not the Sunday school answer.
Not the. Who would that person be, and why?
And why? Yeah, it's hard to narrow it down. There's like a ton of people I'd love to do that with. I think one person that I would be really interested would be Ignatius of Loyola, and that's a real kind of nerdy pastor thing to say, but I spent 3 years just doing a big dissertation on Ignatius and the exercises. I just would love to meet him in person, what he was really like. And I've always thought it'd be interesting to have a historical person have coffee with me in our context and just see what their perspective is about the modern world.
Yeah. See what kind of coffee you like.
Yeah, that's right. What sports team he cheers for.
I'd like to join you for that coffee. That'd be interesting. Okay, here's another one for you.
All right.
Here's more of a church question.
Yeah.
What's your favorite potluck dish?
Yeah.
And is there one that you tend to pass over, or what,
So that's a dangerous question because I don't want to offend anybody because it might be your dish, right?
I'm kind of pushing that edginess, possibility.
Yeah, so we do some awesome potlucks here in Longview, and my friend Darlis makes an awesome tater tot casserole. Just the super unhealthy. It's got the cream soup with the ground beef in it, smothered in cheese. So that's my favorite. So worst potluck dish I've had, and I don't think I'll offend anyone because I don't think anyone's made this before, but Julie and I, once in a while, I used to go to this community vegan potluck. And I'm not vegan, and Julie isn't either, but we were just expanding our culinary horizons, meeting people. And one time, there was just barely anything to eat at this potluck for me. And the worst thing on the menu was vegan pulled pork, which was just, I don't know how you pull it off, but it was cubes of tofu with barbecue sauce, and it was nasty. So the interesting thing about that story is on our way home from the vegan potluck, I totally went to Arby's and got a roast beef sandwich, which is like the opposite of what you're supposed to do after
I'm
eating
sure there's a
healthy.
vegan Arby's, right?
Maybe.
It's Portland.
That's right. Yeah, we're pretty close.
Portland area, yeah. Oh, that's funny. Okay, I have another question here for you. This is a series of questions, and these are would you rather questions.
Would you rather?
Now, I haven't prepped you with this at all, right?
Right.
You don't know anything about this. So what's
but I can trim this video if I need to.
You can edit it. It's okay for me. But so what's the first thing that comes to your mind, and then maybe a quick little because.
Okay.
But you can skip the because too if you want to.
I should be laying on like an analyst couch now here.
That'd be good. Okay. Here, this first one is just exactly that. Yeah. So number one, would you rather wrestle a bear or an alligator?
Oh boy. Yeah. Maybe the alligator, because I think if you can get the jaw shut, you got a good chance of it. The bear's just like generally massive.
Yeah, too big.
Yeah.
It would depend on what kind of bear. A circus bear or like a grizzly. Okay, how about this one? Would you rather live the rest of your life with an advertisement jingle stuck in your head,
oh my goodness,
or with an itch that you can't reach?
Oh, neither. Yeah, maybe the jingle. But yeah, that's a tough choice.
Yeah, let's not even bring one up because then it'll be stuck in our head, right? Okay, how about this one? Would you rather soup? This is actually for my young friend Jacob Smith.
Okay.
Would you rather soup up and race your lawn tractor and own it forever, or race a dragster?
Hey, we got some dragster back.
Or race a dragster for 30 seconds.
Probably the dragster for 30 seconds. That sounds pretty thrilling. Yeah.
Knock your head back.
Just go for it.
Sounds like fun. Okay, here's the final one.
Final one.
Would you rather get charged by a bull moose, or would you rather I stop asking you would you rather questions?
Nice segue to wrap up here. Yeah, I'll go with number 2.
Phil, thanks so much for just taking the time. And we're really looking forward to seeing Phil up in Bellingham. Let's see, when this recording goes out, it'll be July 16th through 19th. And Julie, the kids, Phil will be joining us. So thanks a lot, Phil. Here's a COVID
our elbow bump. Yeah.
All
right. Hey, we'll look forward to seeing you next week. Bless you.